Welcome to another session with the Superintendent of Schools. It's my great pleasure this morning to welcome to our program Ms. Kim Smith. Kim has been with the Wakefield School Department since the middle 60s, the middle 80s, and has enjoyed just tremendous success in developing the music curriculum and the music program for the Wakefield School Department. So welcome this morning, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward to talking with you this morning about music. A topic that's certainly a part of our lives these days. As we begin our discussion today about music, let's perhaps just review, if we could, casually, what do we offer for music, say, at the elementary schools? Okay.
Well, at the elementary school, music begins in grade 1. In grades 1 through 4, each student receives music once per week. And at that time, they really emphasize movement in music and music across different cultures and those kinds of things. And the kids do a little bit of singing and playing of instruments and so forth. And that continues into the Galvin Middle School. And in grades 5 and 6, they also have music once per week. And all of the students in the school have music. And then they really advance then into more reading skills, reading notation and appreciation and those kinds of things. Starting in grade 7, it becomes an elective subject. But that's where, in our school system, I think we do really, really well because we have many students involved. Sure. As an elective. As a matter of fact, I looked at some numbers before I came down, and we have over 500 kids at the Galvin Middle School participating in some performing group at that level. So we have our first choruses there, and students begin the string instruments and their band instruments. Also, we have electives after school, like jazz band and a chamber orchestra and those kinds of things. And then at high school, music is also an elective, but again, we have great participation as an elective subject. And at the high school, we teach music theory classes and fundamentals type classes, jazz improvisation, in addition to the big groups, which would be the band and the chorus and the orchestra. And then after school, we have many groups for the kids to belong to as well. Sure. So we're really servicing quite a few kids in the town with music. And I think one of the things we're most proud of is that we have a string program in Wakefield, which many schools do not have now. During the middle 80s, many of those programs were cut, not only in Massachusetts, but around New England. But we still have a wonderful string program intact here in Wakefield.
When do kids get first exposed to the strings program?
Well, for many years, it was grade 5, which actually is a little bit late compared to other school systems. So we started a pilot program several years ago to get kids started in grade 4. Now, right now, we're only able to service half of the grade 4 schools, which will alternate year to year, and the program is just wonderful. So we're hoping down the road to be able to, as we're able to maybe increase our staff, work towards having all of grade 4. And subsequently, we've moved band down one grade level to grade 5, and that also works out really well. Just last night, we had a big band night concert, which was grades 5 through 12. And I heard the 6th grade band, and they were just fantastic this year. And that's really a result of starting 1 year earlier, getting a little more experience on the instruments. And so we're hoping to really get all of grade 4 as strings, all of grade 5 as band down the road.
Good. That's certainly a great survey of what we're able to offer locally. We have certainly, Rose DiTullio and myself of late have been talking a great deal about the product of ed reform and the curriculum frameworks and how each of our major curricular areas fit within that. Where does music fit within the state initiatives of the curriculum frameworks?
Well, we actually do quite well in terms of content, but the curriculum frameworks really calls for us to have a balance of 4 major areas, and that would be art and music, which we have pretty well intact right now, but the other 2 are theater and dance. Okay. And theater is something that we've offered as an extracurricular activity primarily, although we do now have 1 curricular class at Wakefield High School, and but largely thanks to Ron Chibarro, the theater director at Wakefield High School. He has both a great extracurricular program, and he also initiated the Wakefield Repertory Theater, which is beyond the school, but they also have a youth theater. But I think we really need to work towards getting theater more in the elementary and middle schools, and then also building that through the high school too. And then the 4th large area that we really don't do at all is dance. And we're not alone in that. Most schools really do not have dance in their curriculum, but it's something that the arts framework has said is equally important with theater and music and art, and would like to see that happen as well. And I would say the other major thing we need to work on maybe is our technology. And I see that happening. I see a lot of the work that you've done and a lot of the work that is going along with that to really incorporate that more into our curriculum. And we do have, to a limited extent, some technology happening now, and it's very exciting to the students, and it really broadens what they're able to do. But we do quite well in terms of content, and Rose DiTullio and I are also talking a lot about creating a series of articulated curriculum K through 12 that we can really look at areas maybe we need to strengthen. But
well,
overall,
again,
pretty
the
well.
expectation under the frameworks is that it become a core curriculum as opposed to an extracurricular.
Right.
That it be a part of the experience of every child, not just an elective here and there.
That's right.
And I'm sure as someone who has dedicated their life to music, you would hope that at some point we could make sure that music is a part of the life of every child.
Right, an essential part of every student. And like I said, we have great participation, grades 7 through 12, where it is an elective, but ideally would like to see every student involved in the arts sometime during their school day and integrating that into all the parts of their learning.
I smile when you talked about dance, thinking back to the musical a year ago when I saw 25 to 30 young people who had spent 6 months learning to tap dance so that they could put on the production that they did. And it was just a wonderful public experience for me to see that kids can truly learn to do these things under the kind of direction. Wakefield certainly enjoys a tremendous reputation around this state for its music and drama. And you are certainly to be congratulated for the efforts you've undertaken to give us that status. We certainly enjoy that. Perhaps you could review for us just a little bit of some of the things that you do on an annual sort of way beyond Wakefield in terms of festivals you go to or trips you take or that sort of thing. What are some of those things you do?
Okay, well, at the middle school, the kids have been participating in the Junior District Festival, and we were very well represented this year with more than 20 kids chosen from Wakefield to participate in that festival, that was very exciting. And also they're doing the Great East Festivals this year, which is a big organization, and the kids will go and they'll compete for a medal, and they perform and travel and have some fun. At the high school, it gets even more ambitious with the festivals. We also sent more than 20 students to our Senior District Northeast Festival, and then we had another 12 kids chosen for All-State, which is great representation from one school. And even this year, we had one young lady, Christina Yen, in the junior class that went on to participate in All Eastern United States, which was very exciting. As groups, at the beginning of the year, we start right out with the marching band, and we do local competitions and some beyond in New England and so forth. And for the 5th consecutive straight year, we won a state championship gold medal for that group, which was great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we were recently selected out of all of the bands nationwide that asked to be in this Cherry Blossom Parade in Washington, D.C. We were one of 10 bands that were chosen to actually participate in it, and that's coming up on the weekend of April 10th through 12th.
So that's not so far away.
It's not. We're just
How many
about
kids
ready
will you take
go.
to that camp?
We're taking 139 students
to
Washington. So, and that's one thing that we'll be doing down there is participating in this parade. So it's very exciting. Also, in addition to that, the jazz band is traveling, and we also just completed our competition season and recently won a gold medal at our state championship finals as well. So that group is also excellent, and we had to audition to be part of an international music festival there. So we'll be also competing for a standard medal rating at that festival. And the chamber singers will also be participating as well. And they will also be going to our state festival coming up soon. The drama club is putting on another exciting musical this year. This year it's going to be The Music Man.
Oh, boy.
So we're all looking forward to that. And one thing that's very special about that, too, is that the orchestra that accompanies the musical is all students.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very unusual to have students who can play at that level, that they can play a 3-hour musical. So we'll be doing that. And
Is that scheduled yet, timeline?
yes, it is. It's the first weekend of May.
Okay.
So we can mark that in your calendars, and that should be a very exciting
That's
event
town
coming
meeting
up.
time as well, I guess.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Let's spend some of our last few moments together talking about the future of music. We've had a lot of opportunity to talk about new school facilities in the community in the last several years. We have incorporated into our new elementary schools, the one we're currently designing at the Doll Bear, and also the new school that we're designing for the Woodville site.
Yes.
We have included in those facilities dedicated facilities for music instruction. We also have dedicated facilities in there for drama. There will be stage areas
Yes.
off the all-purpose areas. And I continue to see a lot of enthusiasm to develop both the drama and the music side of our curriculum at both the elementary, of course at the middle school we do have a fairly nice auditorium.
Yes.
There's been a lot of discussion in my first 3 years here about trying to make a major auditorium facility here at the high school. Where do you see music going, Kim? What are some of your needs in terms of either facilities or supplies? Or what would you like to see for Wakefield?
Well, I think you've touched upon the major facility needs. The elementary schools have been a major problem, and I'm glad that we're really targeting that area and trying to get good music classrooms that are really made for music in areas that are made for theater or made for dance. So I think we're heading in the right direction on that, and
Good.
I appreciate being able to have some input into those plans. The other, of course, big issue you've already mentioned is a high school auditorium. That's still a dream of ours. I think we have so much to offer there, so many musical performances, theatrical performances, art exhibitions, things that we could put on if we had such a facility. So I think we should keep dreaming about that and keep
Sure.
working on it, and I think that could be in our future. In terms of curriculum and scheduling and staffing, I think those three really go hand in hand because we really need to make sure that there is time during the school day and the staff available to give the kids the instruction they need. If you look at the middle school program, we talked about the amount of kids we have starting a musical instrument and learning a musical instrument. That's a very complex skill. And the one way a child would be discouraged is if they started an instrument and it was difficult. And as long as that kid is successful, they'll love music, they'll continue with music and want to go on. So we need to have the staff available and the time available during the school day to make sure that those kids get that kind of instruction that they need. And also transition instruments. Usually you pick kids who are very bright and show a little bit of talent to play the oboe and the bassoon and the French horn and those kinds of instruments. It takes a little bit of extra time to learn those kinds of things. So we're looking towards that. And in terms of equipment, that's really a big issue right now. One of the problems we've had, and this is a good problem to have, is there are so many kids that want to play an instrument in our school system that we just don't always have enough to accommodate all of the kids who are showing the instrument.
Who really
interest.
provides those instruments? I assume parents
Well,
mostly,
the
but
school provides the bigger instruments, or the more
specialty type, yeah,
expensive
right.
instruments, or the specialty instruments. And a lot of those are just getting old, and they've been repaired so many times that we're just holding them together, with glue and a little bit of luck. So I think the school needs to be able to replace a lot of those instruments, and we're really hoping to do that. And then also the parents provide instruments for their children on a rental basis, usually early on, and then eventually own those instruments.
Sure.
So we're working on all of those areas, but I think we still need to make sure we target each year money for repair and money for the purchase of new instruments to make sure we can keep moving the program forward and accommodating all of those kids that are interested and excited
I think
about it.
one of the things that you've raised that perhaps is the major challenge is to feed the interest and do all that within, quote, time constraints. We do see under ed reform that time in learning has been expanded, but there are so many different things that we'd like to accomplish in the limited time we
Yes.
have that it's often as we add something, what will we give up? And it's very hard to give up something in order to add, and yet we want to add so many things. We want to do so many things for these young people. As we finish this morning, any words of wisdom, any special appeal, anything you'd like to say to the Wakefield public in terms of music and where we are and where we're going?
Well, I think that the arts are just so essential to education, and I think that it's obvious to me and to the parents in Wakefield how excited kids are to be part of the arts. So we need to keep on supporting. And one great way parents can get involved is through the Wakefield Music Boosters. It's a group we haven't mentioned yet in this conversation, but the music boosters are essential, an essential piece of that puzzle. In the last several years, the boosters have raised $25,000 annually to support these programs. And not only just a financial commitment, but they're there to support us in every way. We have parents who are there to sew flags or, design uniforms or drive a truck or to build a podium or to do really anything that we need, fill in the blanks where maybe the school isn't able to provide all these things from year to year. So support for that program is just fantastic. And I think that we owe them a lot, and I'd like to see even more parents involved in that too.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
You're welcome.
You surely are a treasure to this community, Kim, for what you've been able to do to develop our music program. And certainly on behalf of the people of this community, I thank you and continue to look forward to working with you to develop even further this program. So
Thank you very much for
joining.
having me.
Good.